For this project, our team is going to talk about drugs addictions and consequences. But first, what is a drug? A drug is any substance with the exception of food and water, which when taken into the body alters the body functions either physically or physiologically. For example, marijuana, cocaine, LSD, heroin, methamphetamine, and tobacco. We're going to mention characteristics of each drug, the most important effects and abstinence effects, and we're going to mention individual and social consequences on taking drugs. It is important to pay attention to our examples because drugs are dangerous substances that hurt your body. For example, marijuana, that makes you not being aware and can make a terrible accident happen just like that.
Statistics said that about 60 million persons around the world have problems with drug addiction. This without taking in account alcohol. But first, what is drug addiction? Drug addiction is a chronic disease characterized by drug seeking and use that is compulsive or difficult to control. And also, what happens when you use drugs? Most drugs affect the brain's reward circuit, producing a lot of dopamine. This effect of euphoria is the main cause of drug addiction. This because drugs give you a lot of euphoria, but just for a certain amount of time.
Well, now we're gonna talk about the characteristics of those drugs, which are methamphetamine, marijuana, cocaine, LSD, tobacco, and alcohol. Starting by the most common of the legal ones, that is marijuana, which is gained from the plant named Cannabis sativa. The main active ingredient is the mandatory chemical delta tetrahydrocannabinol. It is legal for medical purposes, but in some countries it's not legal for recreational ones. And the most common way to use it is by smoking it or eating it. Meanwhile, the cocaine is from the erythroxyinol coca, a densely leaf plant native from South America. Cocaine is the world's most powerful naturally occurring stimulant. Coca and its derivatives are usually used in one of four ways. The leaves are sucked, chewed, coca paste is eaten, or is smoked. It is very fine in texture like flour, often mixed with other drugs or substances to make it more toxic, and it takes 15 to 30 minutes to have an effect, and its effects last the same amount of time. And the use mandatory minimum prison sentence for possession is equal to 5 years for 500 grams. Lysergic acid diethylamine, also known as LSD, is an extremely potent hallucinogen. It is synthetically made from lysergic acid, which is found in ergot, a fungus that grows in rye and other grains. It is so potent, its doses tend to be in a microgram range, pretty tiny. Some people may inhale LSD through the nose, that is snort, or inject it into a vein and shoot it up. LSD is produced in crystalline form and then mixed with other inactive ingredients or diluted as a liquid for production in ingestible forms. It is odorless, colorless, and has a slightly bitter taste. Pure heroin is white powder with a bitter taste abused for its euphoric effects. Heroin, a highly addictive drug, is derived from the morphine alkaloid found in opium poppy plant or Papaver somniferum, and is roughly 2 to 3 times more potent than morphine. Heroin is most often injected intravenously, however it may also be vaporized, sniffed, used as suppository, or orally ingested. By the other hand, methamphetamine is a central venous system stimulant. It affects chemicals in the brain and nerve that contribute hyperactivity and impulse control. It is used in medication for obesity deficit disorders, and it is mostly taken orally. Tobacco comes from the Nicotiana tabacum plant leaf. It is used for smoking, chewing, and snuffing. Alcohol is the most commonly used psychoactive drug in the world and the oldest known. The production of alcohol results from a process of fermentation in which water and yeast acts on the various sugars of various types of grains, vegetables, and fruits. The psychoactive drug that is produced is ethyl alcohol.
I'm Ian Rico and I'm going to talk about the effects of drugs in the body. First, there is cannabis, the most common used drug. This drug creates a lot of mental disorders, for example schizophrenia and paranoia. It also leads to lung diseases and throat cancer, and can reduce your fertility. Now, I'm going to talk about cocaine. Cocaine overstimulates the heart and the brain, and can lead to a stroke, brain hemorrhage, or a heart attack. It also reduces your pain perception and may result in injuries. Then there is the LSD, that produces severe anxiety, panic attacks, paranoia, and suicidal thoughts. It can also produce gastric bleeding and coma. Then, the heroin. The heroin main effects are restlessness, muscle and bone pain, insomnia, diarrhea, vomiting, and high blood pressure. At last are the methamphetamines, which produce dangerous effects on the body. For example, strokes, irregular heartbeat that can, in turn, cause cardiovascular collapse or death, and liver, kidney, and lung damage. All of this lead to addiction. An addiction is a long-lasting brain disorder in which people can't stop taking drugs on their own. They continue to use drugs even when they know bad things can happen. That's why we prevent contact with them.
Some social consequences of being a drug addict are that you're no longer able to maintain stable relationships, either with family or friends. Many times you can steal or cheat to buy drugs until this relationship deteriorates further. You will get a low performances at work and education until the point that it reaches the degree of abandoning the plans and goals, resorting to the only solution. Therefore, you could probably get involved in aggressions or conflicts under the influence of drugs, such as robberies and murders can be committed.
Conclude that we as a society need to take off the taboo of talking about drugs. This to be very informed about what are the consequences of the use of the drugs, and with that, take the right decision of using them or not. Finally, it is important to say that everyone can have a happy life without using drugs.